Today is actually a fun one because today we're trying to take a toy car, an innocent toy car, and forcing it to 100 miles an hour out of the box. Do you guys remember Team Corrali? They sent me a car already and I abused it. For some weird reason, they thanked me for it and yet sent another car. And they said, okay, Raz, here's the deal. Help us out. This is the car. We've partnered with a speed company called SpeedTech. And they sent me all the configurations possible to make this car do 100 miles an hour, including some hats, winter and summer. I'm going to model it for you guys later probably. Take our car out of the box. Don't modify it by any way besides gears and make it do 100 miles an hour. Challenge accepted. Joking aside, that's actually a good looking car. But something pisses me off here. I'm trying to fit a very standard size 5200 6S into it and it doesn't fit. You might say, okay, well, maybe there's no room. Well, that's not the case. There is actually a ton of room. I would probably use a different design here, put the ESC a little bit more in the rear and actually allow for most of those basic batteries that are in the market right now to fit. So Corrali, take some notes. They might have wanted to do it on purpose so you don't use heavier, bigger batteries and the car is a lot more durable and whatnot and nimble, maybe. But for whatever it's worth, this is too small. A basic 6S doesn't fit. We're gonna first move the ESC to the rear a little bit and actually allow for a much bigger battery. Let's do that first. Quick and easy, guys. Reposition 2 holes in the chassis, of course. Done. Let's talk about our speedrun calculation. It's going to take a second. First, let's start with the wheels. 118 millimeter, but it's going to balloon a little bit. So let's call them 120 millimeter, right? Done. Out. Transfer ratio, which is the ring gear divided by the pinion in the differential, is 3.31. You can calculate by finding the actual parts, but Corrali is actually giving it to us. Transfer ratio 331. We also know that the spur here is 46, and we know that the factory default is 13 tooth for the pinion. 2050 kV for the motor, which means that it spins 2050 times every volt every minute. Great, love it. 6S battery, that's the setup they ran and got 52 miles an hour on an average with the stock setup. Why do I calculate it? Because now this is my base starting point. We're obviously going to change the wheels to GRPs and we're going to change the gears, but I needed to know what is the resistance, the drag, and the voltage drop for this exact setup. By actually inputting everything to our calculations, we can see that with 118, as in 120 millimeter wheels, with that transfer ratio, with that spur, with that pinion, with that ESC, that battery, and this car aerodynamically, we know that they clocked an average of 52 miles an hour. So the voltage dropped to about 6S dropped to 5S at 4.25 for the given setup. Now that we have this very crucial number, 5 cells at 4.25 volt, this is our starting point for voltage drop and resistance. Okay, so braking is done. We ended up going with 39 by SpeedTech and 27 pinion. Calculated speed is around 106 mile an hour. So after an additional load, drag, and voltage drop, we're probably looking between the 90 to 100 miles an hour range probably. So this is a good first start, good first run. No idea why Corrali think this is a good antenna. I don't know. So it's either they know something we don't. This is the remote. It's either is the best thing out there after sliced bread and this remote is something unique, or we're crashing after about 3 minutes. One way to find out. Back to the studio, the car did great, but it was cutting every single time. The telltale sign that we can go a little faster is because it was cutting at around the 60 to 70% throttle, even though we changed the low voltage cutoff to disabled and the thermal protection to high. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to gear it down from 27 to 24. just to give it a little bit more room to breathe. Another trick that I have up my sleeve, simply because those remotes that comes with the car, they're okay-ish, but they're not as high quality when it comes to throttle pull, and they're not as linear when it comes to the trigger. So I'm going to use a Perfect Pass launch control. For those who doesn't know, Perfect Pass connected in series between the receiver and the ESC. Throttle trim in the remote is all the way to negative, pot all the way to the left. Recalibrate your radio, and then play with the pot for your desired delay. I set my delay for about 7 seconds. Awesome, Perfect Pass is installed inside that receiver box and 24 tooth pinion. Let's get out there and see what we can do. This is what people don't see between runs. Read 92 miles an hour. Oh no, we lost the wheel. It wheelied at like 90. All right. All right, so 92 miles an hour. Gotta be honest, we can probably squeeze like a 95 out of it, but I'm just tired of it, to be honest, and I just don't have the time to spend on it. It's been a day and a half of work as it is, but luckily we have the off-road wheels with us. And taking it endlessly. I don't get it. Hello. Conclusion for the Team Corrali Radic 6. Speedrun? Not so much. Off-road though, let me tell you, this car is so happy off-road. Also super durable, one of the most durable rigs I've ever driven. We did end up breaking an A-arm and bending an axle, but I really don't blame the car. We tortured that thing. Also, it's too strong on 6S, like it's just a demon. Honestly, now I kind of understand why they had such a small tray. 4S might be enough for this car, to be honest. Loved it. If you want to see what we did to the other Corrali that they sent us, check out this video right here.